Hello, Gunner James 105. So, a couple of Tokarevs. This one happens to be the Polish version. This one I've had for quite a few years. It came into Canada. They had tons of these, and they were never issued. They're just like brand new. Really nice condition. And they were a little bit more money than the Russian versions that came in. So this one here, it's got the radom, that oval with the 11, and all the serial numbers match. And this one happens to be a 1950. So this is an actual 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, an M48, because it's the Polish version of a TT-33 Russian. So I brought this out not as the main event, but just as comparison, because the main event is this one here, which is also Polish. Now this one, you can see a barrel extending out about 1/4 of an inch or so on there. Otherwise, the two of them are identical, the grips, etc. And even here, I mean, we've got a very, very similar looking handgun, except this one has Sportowy. Sportowy is, I believe, how they pronounce that. Or I guess in English it stands for sport, like a sport model. And yeah, so the other side, very similar. If you were not paying attention, you would miss the fact that the barrel, there's a big gap in here, whereas the other, that's sealed right up. The other difference too is that the front sight and the back sight, you can see where this has been filed down. So that's a lower front sight, and then the back sight, they would have taken that out and filed down. As far as I can tell, it would have been the bottom piece to make that also shorter, to accept the fact that this is not 7.6. This is not 7.62 by 25. It's 22 long rifle, or I think any 22. But I think the long rifle would be beneficial for this to cycle properly. So that would be the what you would use. The magazines are exactly the same. I could take and use this in there, no problem at all. So what do we got to do now to fire a 22? So they come with these. This is aluminum. I think this one here happens to be all aluminum. I think some of them had more of a steel reinforced. I think this is all aluminum. And I've seen, actually, there's a place probably within an hour's drive that's making these out of brass. And I've seen them, some people having a brass version. And I don't think that's the way they originally came, but it was an after-market type thing to improve these here, because they didn't last very long. They're being aluminum, they're just not as rugged. So you would take your 22. Some of these, so that will take that 22, and I just have to push that in there. Oops. Anyways, there goes the 22. And so with your 22 loaded into there, so you push that down into there, and now you do each one. So there. And you would take then and load your magazine, and this will hold, I think it's 7. I keep forgetting 7 or 8. I can't remember. I think it's 8. Maybe it's 8. These are all empty, but now you've got the basic shape and size of the original round, so that you were able to get that in the magazine and chamber it. So this thing then would be ready to fire. And so because it's 22 rimmed, we don't really want to dry fire it. Yeah, that's as simple as it gets. It's a single action, just like the real deal. This one here is also made, again, at radom. And so there's your mark there. And this one's a 1955. But absolutely beautiful, beautiful condition. Like new. Now, as far as I can tell, it was a little difficult. I mean, if you look at the serial number on this one, that looks like an S6622, perhaps. Because I had initially seen somewhere where they had mentioned there was only 3,500 of these made, and then someone else had mentioned that there's about 10,000 made. Well, being as that exceeds the 3,500 number, it's more likely that there were 10,000 made. And so the years, I think, were between 53 and 55 is when they made these. And so this would be a training handgun. And as far as I know, it was used by the military for training. One could also see this being as a civilian type model with this Sportowy, but that, when you have talk numbers of 10,000 or less, not that common, a bit pricey in most cases these days anyways. The M48 style TT33 Polish Sportowy in 22 caliber, 22 long rifle. Thanks for watching.